Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to First Touch, an official Rocket League podcast. I'm your host, Dazerin, an RLCS commentator, and join with me is Dizz, an RLCS pro, and TBates, a CRL champion. Boys, it's Monday, March 15th. Good morning. How we doing today?
Hey, man, you know, we living, we live. Good morning. You know, I had my little cup of coffee. I had to take it down to the sink or I would have lifted up for y'all. But, you know, we living. How you living, TBates?
Oh, you already know.
I got some glasses on.
Technically, since it's after 12, it's good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everybody ready for a little show we about to put on. Got a lot to talk about.
That's true. That's true. We do have a lot to talk about. I think it's time we just get right into it. So let's start off with what happened over the last weekend. Let's just, you know, we can talk about Europe as much as we want, and we will, but we're going to talk about BDS, first of all. Why can't anyone stop them? I need somebody to shut down BDS. They are, again, they don't even need to play in these next couple of regionals here. They've already qualified for Worlds. They decided to show up in the first spring regional, and they absolutely dominated. We're going to show the bracket here real quick, and, I mean, look at it. Like, on Sunday, they only ended up dropping 4 games out of all 12 that they ended up playing. This team just seems unbeatable right now. I gotta throw this one to Tyler. What's going on with BDS, man?
Let me tell you what's going on with BDS. Let me tell the whole world what's going on with BDS. They're a really good team, really great team. And everybody in the whole entire Rocket League Esports team should appreciate the greatness, should appreciate the amount of work, the amount of time, the amount of consistency they are putting on display. But let me let all y'all know right now.
Okay.
For anybody who actually believes BDS is the best team in the world, you're wrong. I don't want to put no shots on no EU teams, but I gotta call it like it is. When you watch the BDS versus Vitality, there are clips, there are moments where BDS scores wide empty nets because Vitality is struggling all next to one another. There are times when Alpha 54 specifically drives away from the ball and lets Extra shoot the ball right to the empty net. And there are other times when K-Dop leaves the ball right in the middle of the field and Extra just says, oh, I'll take that for free. And you see that from NA. And you watch NA has a totally different level of gameplay. There's at least 5 good teams that compete with BDS every single second, every single moment. And just knowing that, I just know that BDS, they're kind of getting away with the easy region. If they ever played NA teams, it'd be a different type of story.
Okay, so we probably lost like 10,000 viewers off of that statement. Because you know the BDS fanboys is not feeling it. They're not feeling it. But you know, I think Tyler has like a little bit of weight into like what he's saying about that though. Like, but you know, I think I'm gonna let Dizz go because he's got some very interesting points to bring up. We talked about this a little bit earlier.
Looking at BDS, right? To back off what Tyler was saying, you have to respect the level of play that they have performed at for the last, how long has it been? The whole season, basically, right? So you have to really respect that. But the thing about BDS is the level of fear they inflict into their opponents going into a series is at the highest level of the game. And I think that's why they're so dominant, right? They go into every season or every series super confident. And other teams, if they even take a couple games off, they're just like, bro, we're taking games off BDS, right? And then they start shaking and they can't close out a series.
Vitality.
Vitality, prime example. Galaxy Racer was up 2-0, gets reverse swept. And like, you don't see that, right? Like, you go up against a team, the best team in the region. You're amped up, but that third game is always the hardest to finish. It's always the hardest to close out a series because you got to keep that mental high. And once BDS gets one game on you, it's over. It's over. They got you in their lock, and that's right.
It's sad to watch. Vitality is every bit as skilled as BDS. Vitality, K-Dop, Fairy Peak, Out 54. I don't know if y'all watching. Y'all might check a couple clips. Y'all are every bit as good as them. When y'all get up 3-1, finish the job. Finish the series off. Don't worry about that one empty net they get. Play your game. Cause I think Johnny Boy was casting the finals, BDS versus Vitality. And this is why I say BDS isn't the best in the world, because Johnny Boy even touched on it. BDS plays boomer ball. You can't play boomer ball when you're playing first killer up in NA and Rogue. You can't play boomer ball when you play simple. I'm just letting BDS roll right now. Y'all better learn how to control that ball. And if you wanted to slow play, because Johnny Boy was also saying if if Vitality just take the time slow play, they get better chances. That's when you got the machine. And when the machine's on, that's the best slow play team in the world. I'm letting you know right now. So BDS, I hope y'all enjoying all your earnings, y'all getting over there in that free region called EU. But when it comes land time, when it comes world time, I know the NA teams are ready to show up. So you keep on making that free money over there, cause NA coming. And I just know the more I touch on it a little bit before, let them know.
Okay. I was waiting to see if y'all were gonna say it. So there has been a conversation about dominant European teams. This is nothing new. We have seen this level of dominance before. And actually, when I think about it, it's even more surprising to see KDOP of all people like not understand this or like lose to this team, because his team, his former team, Team Dignitas, was one of the best teams in Europe. We had to deal with the same thing when Dignitas were winning 2 world championships. They were calling them the best team in the world. They were talking about the dynasty, whatever. But let us not forget what ended up causing Team Dignitas to disband was in Season 6 Worlds, they played an NA team known as Cloud9, and Cloud9 just didn't care. They didn't respect them at all. They made them look silly. And then we ended up seeing like after that, I think that's when, and I could be wrong, but I did check. Someone may need to double check, but I think after that Worlds, next season, KDOP was on Vitality. So I don't know. I think like right now, BDS are going to continue to dominate Europe. I feel like we can kind of expect that from them, like overall, but I also feel like a lot of teams are playing very scared against them. And I think that like, we need to see something different. We need to see something new. And I even they're ready to play North American teams. I think Extra was talking about it a little bit earlier. I don't know if it was on Twitter or not, but yeah, no, like, so for me, Tyler, if we look at Europe as a whole, what if there was one thing that was super big that you could nail down for Team BDS in terms of like something that teams aren't taking advantage of in their play? Like, what would you contribute that to?
When they're playing BDS, what they're not taking advantage of?
Yeah.
The amount of space that BDS offers teams. BDS backs off a little bit. Sometimes you see Mark by 8 diving instantly, but there are plenty of occasions, scenarios, and it goes for any really Rocket League team at the highest level where you're given those chances. And also sometimes BDS just aren't there to follow up touches. But as Raul touched on earlier, that fear that has been instilled in the whole entire EU scene, just like Gary G tweeted, how BDS lives rent free and everybody in the EU scene, paraphrasing, but that fear that's been instilled in everybody is making them rush. They'll double commit more. They'll panic more on the back wall. There are instances where Monkey Moon might hit the ball off the back wall and there's nobody there shooting, but you'll still see these teams in EU are great. They'll double commit and panic for no reason. You're like, relax, take a little chill pill, breathe in, breathe out, deep breath. You got time. And that's what these teams in EU need to do. I feel like to really get BDS a run for their money. Because just watching over the weekend, watching it back, it just seemed like they really weren't working for it. It just seemed too easy for them, and I don't like that. I know EU can be better, and I want to see BDS challenge before they have to play the NA teams. Otherwise, it might just get ugly for them.
Raul, as a player who plays in North America and who honestly, has stood up with all the top teams so far this season, what do you think? Does TBates have a point here? Like, do you think they're going to also falter when they play NA team?
I think that's 100% correct. I don't think NA players, NA as a region, they respect BDS for what they're doing in Europe, but they're not going to let BDS come to the region and just slap us, right? So, like, people in NA, NA players, they take high pride in themselves and their gameplay, and they're not just gonna let another team from another region come over here and slap them.
Talk to them.
I'm just saying, you got Rogue, the Rogue fanboy that TBates likes to call me.
What's his name?
Jason. Jason.
That's
they
one.
say I'm gonna let you slap him around.
That's one.
Then you got the machine. What's your boy T?
My boy, Miss
Nicholas. Miss ain't gonna let you slap him.
Don't forget about Atomic in the fourth time.
The champion. Hold on, the champion, the most recent champion, Garito Barito. That's Gary G. He ain't gonna let you slap him around. Gary got one of the best mentalities in the game. He ain't gonna let somebody come over here and just slap him around. All right. So you got And we can't even forget SSG, right? We got 5 teams, G2, Go2, 5 teams in this region.
Don't forget Peeps now. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on that boy
we
AJ.
can't sleep on the Peeps either, right? The Peeps on the up and up, always. So we got 5-6 teams, right, that can compete at a high level in NA, and they won't let teams just run over them from a different region because they respect what they're doing over there, but you ain't gonna do that over here. So that's all I gotta say. I think NA will take it to them. So
Garito Burrito.
And yeah, I don't know. Damar, you got something to say about all this?
No, I was gonna go to you because you were talking about how some people was talking a little crazy on the Twitter. I was gonna let you have the flow with that one because I know that there was some people that were saying some things about BDS and you weren't really feeling them.
Oh well, I got one particular person in my mind right now. It's a great man that I respect. He's one of the best EU casters, one of the best casters in general, in my humble opinion. And his name is Stumpy. I know most of you are probably watching, listen to him cast. He's amazing. Him and Cole do a great job as a duo. But my man's had me taken. I was just taken aback by his tweet when I saw it earlier today, because I'm paraphrasing once again. I don't have the tweet pulled up right in front of my face, but he basically said that BDS they're becoming either the best dynasty or they already are the best dynasty, and their domination is just ridiculously unmatched. And I just want to pump the brakes on that just a tad bit, man, Stump, because I do believe there was a dynasty from EU not too long ago that were world champions 2 times in a row and with the 3 world championship finals, and their name was Dignitas. But what was it before? What was it before Dignitas? Gale Force. That's what it was. It was Gale Force, then turned into Dignitas. That's the best dynasty ever. I just want to point that out real fast. And also credit to what Raul said about Garrett G. What you call him?
Garito Burrito?
Garito.
I don't know how to say that, but yeah, whatever that is. Monkey Moon copied my man Garrett's tweet. He said, regardless of what happens, I'm not going to stop until I lift that trophy. Well, Monkey Moon, I respect the hustle. I really do respect. I love what you're doing, but I'm just gotta let you know right now on first touch, it ain't happening this year. It ain't gonna happen this year. And you can keep winning over there, but I'm letting you know right now, unless y'all step it up, NA teams can be ready.
Go
ahead, the Babber.
Okay, look, I'm talking about BDS needs to be stopped. TBates might need to be stopped. He on a roll. He's on a rampage. For context, Stumpy's tweet said there's absolutely no way that Team BDS aren't just the best team in the world. They cannot be beaten by, all caps, anyone. And I hope they get to shine at a land during their unmatched domination. In my opinion, BDS are the greatest Rocket League dynasty we've ever seen.
Gotta pump the brakes. Gotta pump the brakes. I mess with you, Stumpy. I mess with you, but that ain't it. That's a hot take.
That's hot off the skillet.
He cooking
that one. He must be in the kitchen. He was in the kitchen making some food. He said, let me tweet this out real fast.
Kick him out the kitchen.
No, don't tweet when you're in the kitchen, Stumpy. It's a little bit too far. A little bit too far.
Okay. Speaking of something that's hot, we're going to move on to our next subject. There was a fresh, hot new rule that was implemented in the playoffs. And I think this rule only, as far as I know, it only is available for teams that make the playoff bracket in the spring split. They tried it out this regional, and it was actually very interesting to see. It's a new timeout rule where in between games in a series, so on a playoff day, it's all best of sevens. In between that, at any point, a team can call for a timeout, which is pretty much a 2-minute break for them to talk to their coach or each other and figure out, what they want to do, or just take a breather from a series. Guys, I personally thought that it was very interesting to see. We saw, I think it was Giants do it. They were down 3-1 against Aether, and they called for a timeout. And then they completely turned things around and won the series after that. Some teams didn't have the same effect, but there was definitely, results that kind of benefit that having a timeout did help. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. What you think,
Bro?
I think that timeout rule, I think for teams to be successful in this kind of timeout rule, you need someone with leadership, a great mentality, and or a coach, right? Someone that's a leader that's going to figure out what's going on, what's wrong with how you are performing at the current moment against any specific team. Find out a strategy to implement where you change up what you're doing in that given moment, weaknesses on the opposition, and attack it, right? You only have 2 minutes, so it's not really like a grand amount of time, but it's enough. It's more than enough to discuss what you need to discuss. Have everybody's mental reset, because a lot of what this game is mentality and how you go into a series. All right. So a big reason why BDS is on top. They're super confident against everybody they play against, regardless if they go down in the series. So I think that this timeout rule is going to be great. I can't wait to see it implemented in NA, because I think NA will see a lot closer series, especially at that top 5, top 6 level, right? Seeing 2 top teams and someone calls a timeout and is like, all right, how do we stop this team that's that has a lot of momentum right now? I think it's a really great rule. Can't wait to see more of this.
Didn't we talk about a potential timeout rule a couple of weeks ago, Damar?
I think so. I think so.
And yeah, the timeout is definitely a necessity, I feel like. And the fact that RLCS is finally implemented is a good idea, in my opinion, because sometimes, like, when was it utilized again? This was exact series?
There was a couple series, but I know it was the 3-1 with Aether up against Vodafone Giants, and I know that they did that one. But
and because you have to think about it from like a sports perspective, in my opinion. Rocket League's nonstop action for 30 to 50 minutes, really, give or take, and those little pauses in between games aren't enough time for teams to like recollect and really regain what their composure and really refocus. And so if you give them a little timeout, a little break in between, it really helps them out in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I can see how, like, it's definitely going to be like a rule that is going to help some teams out. Obviously, it didn't work for every team. I think Solari tried to do it, and again, like, it just didn't work. So there's like some teams it will work for, some teams it won't. I think like for a team like Dizz, this team like Sonics or whatever, like that's pretty big. But if we're talking about North America, like let's say SSG for whatever get into a timeout, like I don't think that they need a little bit more than 2 minutes. I'm saying if
it's only 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's only 2 minutes.
2 minutes. They get one per series.
I think so. Yeah.
And you have to make it to day 3 some of that, or is this just the entirety?
You have to make it to day 3. Day 3.
That's pretty good. It's just like the extra little break, maybe just to really regain yourself and really just get your momentum back. Just like in actual sports, you just need that timeout, especially in basketball. If any of you guys are really big basketball fans, basketball is a game of runs. There's stretches where you can rack up 10, 12 points just like that, snap your fingers, and then the coach calls timeout just to let the guys settle back down. And that's, I feel like it's a really big need for some players, especially in the RL scene, because you could end up going down 3-0 just like that. And then you go into game 4, you're like, oh, you haven't even time to really regain yourself. that minute break in between, plus the 2 minutes after that, would be like really beneficial for really any team, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you can also use it to like try to slow down a team. Let's say first killer popping off on like a game, and you're like, okay, hold on, we need to cool him off real quick.
I don't know if you're ever gonna ice Jason, but I mean, you could try, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this works in North America, and then who knows, maybe like in some like something I'm thinking of, or okay, so I believe there was a tweet, and I need to find this tweet because Corey had tweeted it yesterday. Corey from the Esports team ended up responding to one of my tweets that I had about the timeout. And first thing I asked for was, like, can we have a coach cam? Because there are some teams that have coaches where we're looking for them, or we're looking at them because everyone's like using cameras. If they're on the mainstream, you're seeing all the face cams and the player cams, and they're just sitting there like this. And I'm like listening to like Corelli talk or something like that. And they're like, yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on in the comms right now. But like, that's because we don't see the coach talking. So the coach is talking in the background. So I thought having a coach cam would be cool. And Corey said, we actually had similar feedback when we were in the designing phase for this. We want to get coach cams eventually, but we just need to work with teams to figure out setups. It's a stretch goal for sure. So I do think that we're going to see coach cams more, which would be cool because one, you give a spotlight to coaches as well. They can actually, you actually see them doing their job, so to speak. And you're like, okay, ooh, that's Chrome. What's he saying? SSG, all that other stuff. But something I just thought of just now was maybe in certain series, like a best of 7, maybe you have 2 timeouts instead of 1. I don't know. Like, is 2 too many? Like, what do you think?
I personally think 2 might be too many. Because, like, you can't give teams, like, you can't try to ice twice, right? If the first time, you still have that minute in between games, right? So I think if you have one timeout that's major, that's like emergency. All right, I need to stop. We need to stop, discuss in depth about what we need to be doing. But that minute in between games, you should already be making adjustments. It's teams with no leadership, no positive mentality that just kind of sit quiet through the whole thing and kind of just hope that everybody mentally resets when nobody does. And then they go into the next series and they're like, well, or they go into the next game. They're like, all right, well, we're doing the same thing. Nothing's working. So that's where that 2 minutes, you're like, all right, calm down. Everybody needs to relax. Let's discuss what we need to do in that 2 minutes. But if you have multiple of them, I think it's excessive. It's too much. It's gonna slow down the flow of the game pretty much. And people are just gonna be like, all right, why are there so many breaks in this game now? So
Yeah, that's understandable. That's definitely understandable. Tyler, did you have anything to say on it, or?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. But obviously, the new RLCS rule timeouts have been implemented. We're going to see more of that as it develops, and check it out when we get to Championship Sunday for North America at the end of this weekend. So keep an eye out for that, and let us know also what you guys think of the timeout. We're going to move on, though, because some teams didn't even get a chance to experiment with the timeouts because they got knocked out so early, and it's teams like Top Blokes and Galaxy Racer, and I'm looking at the bracket and I'm even casting the matches and I'm like, okay, well, what's happening? Why are Top Blokes losing? But not only are they losing, they're losing to some of these up and coming teams that some of them, this is their first regional as a team. You talk about White Demons, Aether, and Godsmilla's team all having incredible runs in this first spring regional, and now they're starting to shake up Europe.
Go ahead, TBates.
Ooh. See, then that's why I say like EU is really suspect, to say the least, in terms of top teams per se, compared to NA, because all three of these teams that y'all see on screen right now, they all formed, I think, within the last month or so, and all three of them have had really good performances within that span, especially their first regional in the split. And in NA, I know that you can't just break up people like that, and then all of a sudden they start performing at the highest level, making the top 4 like Godsmill's team did and stuff along those lines. You have to be a legit team for X amount of time. And I mean, I give all these teams credence. You got that kid, Chronic. I believe that's how you say his name.
Chronic.
He hit actually beautiful shots all weekend. And he looks like he's going to be the truth. But for now, like, it shouldn't be possible for a team like that to form within a span of 2 weeks, and all of a sudden they're competing at the highest level that fast. Just like, for example, and it's just random teams that they're not random, but they're just newer teams that they shouldn't be able to reach that upper echelon at that speed, in my opinion. And I mean, I think that just goes to EU's lack of top, like really, really strong top teams.
Yeah, the clear definition what Stumpy and Cole were advocates about was how close was the region spread apart. I think they said that NA is definitely top heavy, and then EU has like more depth, which would kind of bring up to this point that they were kind of right in this case, because that would mean more depth would mean that more teams can compete at a high level. I think there's obviously just one clear team that is just at the top, and then everybody else is kind of fighting for positions in Europe. Vitality,
I would argue a 1-2.
Vitality kind of standing out a little bit. BDS is just in Vitality's head tremendously, so Vitality can't get over that little hump that they need to. But yeah, these new teams, they have young prospects on every roster that are coming up, and they're proving themselves. A Chronic is the biggest standout. A Chronic was doing a lot. He
was cold.
For Godzilla's team, a lot. And I went into the series. I was watching them this whole weekend. I was just like, who is this man, bro? I know Godsmilla, I know Freaky. Everybody does. I was like, who is a Chronic? And then when I was watching him against who they play? Day 3.
Solary and Vitality.
And Vitality. When I was watching Solary Vitality, a Chronic was eating
everywhere.
He was eating. I was like, bro, this man is the truth. So backing on go ahead, Demar.
I was gonna say, like, so when they played against Solary, like, first off, obviously, we had the player cams for that one. You can see Astro getting frustrated for one, but then for like two, like that was a sweep. Like they swept them. There was a close game. I think so most of the games were like 1-goal games, and the closest one was on DFH with a 2-minute OT. Forbidden Temple was a complete 2-0, but I guess the whole purpose of the question here, the whole purpose of the topic is like most people will argue or like they would say like maybe this is depth from Europe, but is this depth or is this just like the top of Europe just like not showing up?
It's the top of Europe being practically non-existent. It's just they're not consistent whatsoever.
Why do you say it like that?
Because that's the facts. A lot of people, for example, they love Team Queso and their run they had or I think they might have had 2 runs randomly. But other than that, it's very like hit or miss where the Team Queso performs to the level they want to play at. Saying top blokes, they sometimes look good, sometimes don't look good. And when you're not consistent at the level, you give BDS a chance to really run through it because they're always consistent. They're always BDS. They don't really have to necessarily rise to the occasion more times than not. Sometimes they have, but most times they can get away with being just regular old BDS, which still have really high level team. But if other teams were to show up and really make their marks like a Dignitas, like a Top Blokes, if you want Team Case to make their like endpoint, really stamp themselves into like a legit top 6 team, top 8 team where you can make your new team, White Demons, WDM, you can make your new team, but you can make it pretty far, but you're not gonna make day 3. Same thing for Aether. You're not gonna make day 3 just off of making your team like that. We're gonna make sure you stay out of this. Maybe next regional. So given that, I think it just proves that the top portion of EU is lackluster, and it gives these teams an ability to really mesh and compete from like that 4 to really 3 at 3 to 4ish range all the way to about 12. And it's just like a coin flip as to who makes it all the way to end to play BDS, in my opinion.
Can I propose a question real quick to both of you two?
What's up?
Do you think Godsmilla's team has what it takes to stay consistently in that top 5 range from now on out? From what you've seen this weekend?
Oh, this is a bad weekend. Like, this was a bad weekend. You talk about there's 2 teams that didn't even make it to playoffs. I'm talking about Galaxy Racer and Top Blokes, which to me, those 2 losing to White Demons was probably the most shocking thing. I want to talk about Galaxy Racer in the next segment, but for Top Blokes, especially, like they finally just kind of announced their whole like org situation and everything, like, right? So we know that's confirmed. We know that's official. Okay, congratulations to you guys. You guys are finally like making the money to play in, the top echelon of Rocket League, but you can't even make playoffs. T-Grace team beats you guys and they get swept by BDS. Like, that shouldn't happen. It's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I feel like they should that team out of all teams should not have that type of performance. I'm trying to remember. I think they lost. They lost to
Godsmilla?
No, I'm talking about Top Blokes. I'm talking about Top Blokes. Yeah, this is gonna like come into my point. Top Blokes shouldn't be playing like that. There's no reason they shouldn't make playoffs. So for me, it's just like, okay, if like, I don't know if this is like a bad regional or if this is going to be a trend, but if it's a trend, then that's scary. I do think though, if Godsmill's team remains consistent, if like teams don't punish a Chronic for going for a lot of solo plays, and if they don't like actually put a lot of pressure on that team at all, and they keep getting space, yeah, they're going to keep winning. I think they're going to keep winning because they kind of, just the way all those 3 come together and play, it's actually like really, really cool to watch. Yep. And to see, and they have the confidence going into the next regional. They definitely have the confidence. You sweep Farish, Alcet, and Astro, like you got the confidence. So for me, I think Godsmill's team definitely have what it takes to at least make playoffs again, but making top 4 or finishing top 4 remains to be seen. I need to see more.
What about you, T?
I mean, for me personally, I'm lost how the dude who got benched, Godsmilla, I can say that because he made a whole tweet about himself. He got benched by a team, didn't play the whole entire time, and then he just comes off the bench, forms a new team, and makes a top 4. See, that bothers me. That bothers me. It just seems like an anomaly, like it's an asterisk. Like it's not gonna happen again. And Freaky was on fadeaway with Yukio and Tigre, I believe. And their best finish in the whole entire winter split was 17th to 24th. And now all of a sudden he's getting 4th. Now, like I said, a Chronic the truth. I think we all agree on that, but You can't have one truth for two people who are inconsistent.
And
And
it could just be like a meshing thing, you know. There's teams that don't mesh well, you know. So I think that fadeaway roster just didn't mesh well, and then you get Freaky, who has crazy experience, Godsmilla, crazy experience. I think Freaky is just proving to have a great, like, he has great leadership qualities to bring a team right back up to where they need to be.
I can respect that.
And with the Chronic being a young gun, mechanically gifted, right? Mechanically skilled, these two leaders on the team, Godsmilla, Freaky, basically raising this young kid up, and letting him shine, and letting him, or providing him the backbone that he needs in order to do whatever he wants on the field.
Yeah,
I can see that, but I still ain't giving him top 4 though.
Hey, I mean,
okay, all
that's the
right,
question. Yeah.
all right. I think that what was I gonna say? I feel like there's a lot of stories too to talk about, like teams. Obviously, Godsmilla's team in general. You know what I'm saying? Like his story and everything that he has gone through up to this point. Then you talk about Freaky as well. Like those guys kind of have a lot to play for when you think about the history. Same thing for Aether too. Yukio, Tox, and Ixo. Like Ixo got dropped from Galaxy Racer and then ended up making playoffs and almost it actually ended up making top 4. They were 1 game off from Giants. Remember, Giants ended up using that timeout. So Aether got to work on keeping that momentum up. Otherwise, they get iced out real quick, as we can see. But
I think
what?
I think they have a better chance of making a consistent, like competing for the consistent top 4 spot than Godsmilla's team do.
Aether?
Why?
Yes. Because they're just recently analyzed the whole entire RLCS. All 3 of them have been performing. Tox was on Giants and got replaced. But still, Giants are really good with Tox. Ixo was just on Galaxy Racer. Still don't know why exactly that switch happened. That must be behind closed doors type movement or something like along those lines.
Good Lord. Okay. What is happening, bro?
I went a weird color.
I don't know what's
Oh my gosh.
What happened to me?
Help, teammates.
No, someone, maybe you gotta take off the glasses or something.
Take off the glasses, maybe.
Exclamation mark, help.
Exclamation point, help in the chat. We need help teammates.
Oh my
There we go.
God.
Yeah, there we go. We're gonna do that for now.
Oh dear. All right. We can still hear Tyler. Tyler's still talking to us. What was you saying, bro?
I don't know what that is. Maybe my points are just too hot for my camera or something along those lines. I'm not too sure. Moving on, the more.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think you made a point, Tyler, about Aether being able to make it consistently in the top 4. I can see that. I actually want to go into our next segment here because, again, really wanted to talk about Galaxy Racer. But let's talk about this world record that was broken. The RLCS overtime world record was broken last week. It was honestly, like, it was between BDS and Galaxy Racer. It was one of those things that when we saw it, we were just like, how in the world is this even like going on for this long? 15 minutes and 19 seconds off of game 1. And then Galaxy Racer ends up winning that and
That's
then
right.
loses the series. But I wanted to, before I get on Galaxy Racer, let's talk about just the overtime world record in general. Raul, you've played in a lot of OT records. Like, what's it? I mean, have you ever played in something that long?
Only in ranked. Only in ranked. There was a tweet. I think Slater tweeted out. Reddles. He was in that series, or he was in that match. It was ranked. It was Slater. Slater was in there. Ajax was in there. But we had it was like a 15 something minute OT. Never in comp though. So I could only imagine the blood racing, the nerves, and they were playing spectacular defense. Both sides of the ball were spectacular defense. Goal line saves after saves, and then you got Arju coming in clutch at the end. So yeah, 15-minute OT is no joke. You definitely got the nerves. So go ahead, TBates. What you think?
I was just a little preview of what NA can bring to BDS. BDS, everybody knows they don't make any mistakes, but Galaxy Racer for that specific game decided that they weren't going to make many mistakes in it either, and they didn't give them any free goals, and they made them work, and BDS couldn't score on them, and then eventually RG decided I'm going to bust that little mechanic on you, air dribble by 2, skip to my Lou, I'm going to put it top left, there's nothing else you can do, and that's what's gonna happen. And see, I respect you, but there's a difference in NA when you got first killer caliber, you got Justin caliber, you got an AJ caliber, that's going to happen more often than not. So now it was a clean series. I love the overtime, but it was all good. Damar?
Yeah, so for me, I like the I mean, obviously it was like 15 minutes. We were sitting there for a long time. I remember I think I was watching it. I played a ranked game, and then I looked over to my screen like, they still not done? Like the series went on for like, oh my god, went on for like 15 minutes. But they ended up playing like 20 minutes of Rocket League like in a straight game. I feel like that was so draining, but I also am upset because Galaxy Racers should have won that series. They ended up taking Forbidden Temple in the next game 2-0, and after that they just fell apart. They just completely fell apart. We didn't see them do anything else. They had a close game 4, but then once they got to Champions Field, BDS had all the momentum, and then they just completely shut them down. Then after that, it led, and this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about with the Rising Stars thing. You could just see that the team just after that point, they didn't do anything else. They ended up dropping that game, and then they ended up dropping out in the knockout gauntlet to White Demons. And I'm like, that's when White Demons, they have the momentum off of that. They go into the Top Blokes match, and Top Blokes had some really good games, had some very well done Rocket League in the games that they won. There was a 7-2 on DFH Stadium. I'm like, okay, they woke up, maybe they win, but then they just don't close out the series. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, you're playing Rocket League for this amount of time against one of what people are saying is like the best team in the world. You need to have that transfer into like the rest of the games. If anything, yes, you lose, but that should just be able to give you a little bit more confidence going in for the rest of the weekend. And it seemed like it did the opposite for them. It feels like they just kind of got burnt out afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah, my thing is for BDS, that 15-minute OT to lose, right? Galaxy Racer, they should have had all the momentum. That's all you need. You won a 15-minute OT against the best team in the region, right? So that's all the momentum, and then you go up another game. So what I'm saying is that to close the series out, it's the toughest game because you're on the edge. You're like, this team, you respect them to be a better team than you. That team should come out on top, and you kind of identify that, but you need to put respect in your own name and be like, I'm confident. We already took 2 games off. We can take a third, right? And not let the nerves get to you that you're this close to beating that roster. And then to add on to that, we talk about Bluey, right? The addition of Bluey over Ixo on this Galaxy Racer roster.
Right.
And Bluey's mental on why he was kicked in his MVP season, his mentality is harming to a roster. And we talked about it before the regional, if it would improve or if it has improved, and maybe things will be better. And you could see the potential on the roster. They should have beat BDS, but was his mentality the main reason that they couldn't finish? And then when they go to the gauntlet, they lose out to a team that they should never lose to, right? Looking at the roster. So it's big questions are raised on like Bluey's mental, how the mentality on the team is, so that they couldn't close the series. What do you think, TBates?
Tyler,
Hello?
can you get what are you doing?
I was making sure my internet was good. I'm back.
Okay.
Hello.
Did you hear Raul's question?
No, sir.
Oh God. Okay, so obviously Galaxy Racer didn't end up winning their series against BDS, even after winning in the world record overtime. Do you think that has to contribute to once they started losing? You know, a player like Bluey, we talk about his mentality so much in the game and how that's been a subject that even he has spoken on. Maybe I would have thought that it would have improved over time. I'm not necessarily sure, so I can't. It's not like I speak to Blue on a daily basis, so I can't answer that question. But do you think that may have had some impact into why Galaxy Racer has such a poor showing in the regional?
Bluey's performance?
Yeah, or his mentality, really. Did that affect his performance?
More his mentality than performance, yeah.
I mean, maybe on like a bigger stage, but it's his first tournament. His first, he usually starts off hot with a team doesn't he? And then towards the latter end, it gets bad, and then he has to end up leaving. Correct?
For the most part.
Yeah, I don't think it has to do anything with mentality for him for at least the first series. I think it's just maybe when they just ended up losing that particular set, and so they just got to learn and grow from that. Once again, I still don't know why exactly they decided to swap for Bluey. I don't know if they think if the Bluey transition will put them as a legit top 3 team or 14 that can compete. But for now, we just have to wait and see. It's a wait and see type of approach.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people are going to keep eyes on Galaxy Racer over the course of the day, the entire split to see exactly what's going on with them. But I want to move forward to a player and a team that didn't even qualify in this conversation. We're talking about Cookser and the Wolves, who again failed to even make the regional after there was this big hype announcement over Cookser joining the squad. But they failed to qualify. And I think this brings up a conversation that we had previously where we talk about players like Kronovi, some of the old guard. These players have been in the game for a long time. But now that the game is starting to change a little bit, maybe they're starting to fall off.
Bro.
Huh? Yeah, go ahead, TBates.
Oh, me? I can go. I don't know. It just for Cuxer, it depends on mesh. And nobody knows exactly. We'd have to get like speed on the drill or something like that for comms or something along those lines to see like how much he talks in while being on a team, how much he practices, how much he really like puts in the time with the team. Cause everybody at the Rocket League level nowadays is really skilled individually, and we all know that. But to reach that next level, really just comes down to cohesion, team chemistry, and those things and things that such like that. So them failing to make it, I don't know necessarily if that's a bad look on Cuxer or the team overall, but it does put Cuxer in a bad spot because he's one of OGs. He's one of the people that put me personally playing the game, and you want to see him make it. You don't want to see him end up faltering, especially at this level. You want to see him at least go out on top in some fashion or another, not going out like this. So hopefully the Wolves can pick it back up, and it doesn't really hurt or hinder Cuxer's career in the future. Okay, you just want to see a legend like him really perform at the highest level at least one more time and give you that little nostalgia, this nostalgia that he can bring and provide that other players can, especially when they're newer.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to cohesion on how a roster is going to perform. Team chemistry is a big thing. The thing that I want to point out is Cuxer's been in the scene for a long time, right? And when these old guard players, the players that have been in forever, they start to drop down to these newer teams with new players. They don't talk to them that much, right? They're not friends with these new players that are coming up. They're friends with the players that have been in it for a while that they came up with. So you trying to build a whole new bond with a kid who has no comparisons to you, nothing to talk about, right? Except Rocket League. It's just a struggle for someone who's older. Cooks being what, 22, I think, teaming with young guns who are 15, 16. There's nothing to talk about. You're more mature than them, especially if you aren't talking to them consistently on a daily basis, which I don't know if Cuxer's doing or not. So we don't have the inside scoop on that. But I think it's super hard to have cohesion on the team to be successful if you're just not talking to your teammates often, daily. Other than scrims, you have to talk to your team outside of scrims, and that's the most successful teams in both regions.
That's what they do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's why I really focused, and that's why Cuxer's on the show right now. Well, he's not on the show, but he's a topic on the show because as Raul pointed out, there's just that age gap, there's that maturity gap, there's that just I'm approaching this game differently than you're approaching the game. 15-year-old, you come home from school, you're playing Rocket League, you're really good at it. And you also have like a completely different mindset. You're still in high school. Cuxer's a grown man. He's got grown man things to worry about. And grown man ain't really gonna communicate that well with a 15-year-old unless the 15-year-old is one of the most mature 15-year-olds in the world. But the likelihood of that happening isn't that high. So making it in the scene, you come up with a set amount of people. You have to genuinely make it with that set amount of group, that set group you have. If you don't make it with that group, it's gonna be very unlikely that a group that came before you, or especially a group that came after you, is going to try to really like respect your skill, respect what you put in, and really want to work with you. They're gonna want to work with people that they're coming up with. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. I just hope that Cook's stock necessarily doesn't go down, just mainly based on this one poor performance. Because, like you guys said, like the guy's really good at the game, and he's been in there for a long time, and he's had a mind for a lot of stuff that we've seen implemented, including stuff like the fact that people were playing on 240 hertz monitors. Like I remember that DreamHack, I think it was like DreamHack Atlanta, where Cookster had, it was like 2017. He was the one who like kind of, he was like, he brought it up to his team or whatever, and like they made an extra push to have him use a special monitor because 240 hertz just felt better. And then next thing you know, you saw like the whole team just the whole scene kind of like fall over after that. But yeah, I love Cookster. I like what he means to the game, and you always want to see him do well. At least one last time. We say last time as if like he wants to stop playing like anytime soon, but like he's probably not. He probably still wants to just play as long as he can. So, but that's really what we got here on Cookster and the Wolves. Hopefully they do better. We're gonna move on to our next segment, which is Twitch Rivals recap. So, over. This was last week on Tuesday. We had Twitch Rivals happen in Europe and North America. I was there. It was a long day. I think it was like 12 hours across both regions. And we ended up doing Europe in the morning, and then, or at least in my morning, and then North America later on today. Twitch Rivals is one of those things where I'm probably just going to hit on the most just because, again, I was there. It was a huge kind of, I feel like Twitch Rivals represents to me like a celebration of streamers in general, right? There's a competition that's put on. All the top streamers and content creators or professional players, whoever's on Twitch, kind of get together and they play in a draft style like heat tournament. So 14 captains, they draft their players who are they can only have 2 pros on the team, and then there's a whole list of content creators. And then I believe I didn't see it until TBates got mad. But we gonna get you right. We're gonna get you right.
TBates in the Matrix, man.
Yeah, he's okay. But yeah, it's this big thing where, and not all the streamers who are involved are like necessarily like the top streamers of Rocket League, but they're people who are very passionate about the game and the community, and they get a chance to like sit down with everyone else. We're all like lumped into the same game, and we all get to play every single game mode like put into Rocket League pretty much. That's like you can still find a private match for and have a good time. Engage with people you've either never spoke to or are very close friends with, win some prize money, and interact with your viewers, and even get new viewers once all that's said and done. I feel like it's a really good thing that is put on every now and again, and I'm always excited to be a part of it and see like different streamers have their own or see new streamers meet up with some of the ones that we all know and love, and just get to see those guys interact. But that's from my perspective. I know you guys didn't see too much of it, but like as a viewer, like what were your thoughts at least of watching it?
Oh,
I think it's a great way to expose different kinds of content creators in the scene. It's definitely when you have a bunch of content creators in one spot, it's going to be content because they have a whole audience that watches them every day for specific reasons, right? And you mesh different personalities together. It's always going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Pros who don't stream often, or even pros that stream, players that play the game, and viewers that still play the game, right? Every viewer I think plays Rocket League at least a little bit. You like to see pros out of their element, participating in content events as well. So I think it's always a great mixture of a high level of gameplay, but a lot more fun and enjoyable to watch as well. These pros that are out of their element, not playing for a competitive aspect, even though there is a prize for this kind of tourney. I think it's always fun watching Twitch Rivals.
I just love how it gives these people who put in a lot of time and really love Rocket League, especially they do love entertaining, they love playing it, they love making content for everybody in the community overall. I just love how They have a platform that they can play and compete in, and it's a whole bunch of fun. They grow their own brands. They grow the Rocket League brand, like Rocket League game. There's more things that people can relate to, because not everybody necessarily is a pro at Rocket League. So when you're watching Esports Pro, you're like, oh my gosh, we're all ridiculously good. I can never attain that. But then you watch these streamers who, not everybody's amazing. Some are pros, some are just streamers, and who are really funny, but they're not necessarily like amazing at the game. And you're like, oh, I can relate to that. And they're generally having a good time. And that's how you want people to see that. You want people to really be able to relate to that. And that's what Twitch Rivals allows people, the viewers, to do, and allows the people participating to really enjoy and love their time and have fun and do what they do on a platform in which they can compete for some money. They compete for more viewers, more prestige, and grow their overall brands. And so it's a great time. And I know DeMar's played in a couple of them, I think.
No, I've just casted them.
Have you just casted them?
Yeah.
Maybe one day DeMar will be able to play in or something along those lines. But
they're not ready for that.
Oh gosh.
But listen. There was one thing that was really cool. So, like I said, it's a bunch of custom game modes. So there was hoops, for example, and this is the one I want to bring up. Hoops. There was in North America. Tri-House plays hoops all the time, and no one really, people who knew Tri-House like knew this, but it came down to, I think it was like a very like kind of clutch moment in like the finals, and then they ended up picking hoops, and it was Tri-House was paired with Gyro. And y'all know Gyro play hoops he plays hoops with Bella like all the time. Mm-hmm. So like those two got in this hoop slot. I'm telling you, it was the craziest hoops game I think I had ever seen. Like there was like, I was screaming actually when I was watching it. Because like Tri-House, he was like, I forget, they were playing against a couple pros. I remember this. And I saw Tri-House ego challenging people. And I was like, Tri-House? Like he did not play around. He was at that 450 ego challenging people in hoops. And I'm losing my mind. I'm like, this is like absolutely just like no way this is happening. And they ended up winning that in a close game. But yeah, I think like, you're not going to see that on a daily basis, which is one of the things why I say like Twitch Rivals is so cool. So big shout outs to Twitch Rivals, and I cannot wait to see what more we have in store. But we're going to get back into like the competitive side of things here as we segue into CRL. We had the CRL quals happen yesterday. Tyler, you actually streamed them. Oh God! Oh God!
Oh gosh!
Yeah. Tyler streamed him. He was showing me some of his casting earlier today. That had to have been the funniest thing. You got to check out TBates VOD if you guys get a chance to watch some very high quality, completely unbiased LSU casting.
That's right. Go Tigers!
But Tyler, talk to me about CRL. What's up?
All right, folks. Well, I know some people in the community, they don't really appreciate CRL, so that's why I'm here. Bad camera or not bad camera, the voice still works. So that means that I'm going to talk, and we're going to talk about collegiate. And collegiate here, it's a great time. It's got a really high-level gameplay, actually, for all the haters out there who don't believe that collegiate's a good scene. There's everybody who made it. Where's my tweet at? Where's my list that people made it? The teams that made it, I want to shout you all out. LSU, congratulations. Of course you're going to make it. I didn't expect anything else out of you, anything less. UT Dallas, congratulations. Cal State Fullerton, I believe that's Spuda. Everybody chatting puts on Spood hypes. Look at the Mar hat. Spuda made it with Riddles and them boys. And then I'm missing somebody. Demar, you got the tweet somewhere? I'm missing like 14. Hold on one second.
Yeah, so CSUF Esports. Just scroll up a little bit if you're
Stockton,
okay.
UCF. OSU, US, and then USF Green, their second team. Their second team made league play, which means that USF has two teams of that caliber who can really compete at the highest level of collegiate. It's a really great time. If you are a young player who's in high school, middle school, and you really love playing Rocket League, the collegiate's only growing from here on out, and there will always be opportunities. There's going to be more scholarship coming in, more than likely throughout from schools as the years go by. So make sure you really just pay attention to it, and it's an opportunity to play the game you love, or the game you love, while also getting education. It's one of the best things that I believe Sonic has ever done. I love it, every second of it, and I hope that everybody else does too, because we will talk about it on this show, and we will have a great time talking about it on the show, and I will make sure it's a great time too. So Raul, you can comment on it as well, but I just want to let everybody know that collegiate qual number 1 happened yesterday. There will be another collegiate qual next Sunday. If you're a collegiate team and you haven't signed up yet, make sure you sign up. I believe sign-ups close on Thursday, so just go in and handle that real fast and have a great time with your boys, because it's really fun.
Yeah, I think CRL is just just to back it on. I don't really watch it, as TBates knows, but
Yeah,
I did
Raul is
tune
one
in.
of the people I'm talking about here. Go ahead.
I did tune in to see yo Duddy cast in a little bit, man.
Duddy. What does that mean?
I did. You know, I did tune in a little bit. Skip to my Lou, yeah. I watched a little clip of, you know, Jackson almost losing. Yeah, Ajax, if y'all don't know.
Oh, yeah. See, which, hold on. Let me cut you off right there since you go try to hate on Ajax. That just shows, folks, that CRL is really competitive. And you have pros who have to go all the way to game 5 to qualify for CRL. And it shows how good collegiate is. Continue, Raul.
You better be careful with your words, man.
I'm not hating on Jackson. I'm just saying, like, Jackson almost lost, right? And you got the biggest LSU advocate right here in the stream. TBates 1-2 skip to my Lou. Jackson had a nice play to kind of clutch his team back into the series to bring the game to game 5. But yeah, it was a little hype with TBates cast, and I need to see you on a little bit more CRL cast. TBates, maybe TBates screaming on the mic is a little too wild for me. So yeah, I mean, I don't really watch it too much, but it's definitely a great it's a great way to get in the scene if you're young and you're looking to play at next level when you make it to college. So get you some little scholarship money, things like that. So why not?
Yeah. I mean, your teammate came from CRL, Raul. Shock. If you think about it.
I mean, he wasn't like he was like playing. He was still at a high level, but like he just went to school, so he's like, why not join a collegiate team? I gotta, you know.
He did.
Are you doing? You tiptoeing?
Yeah, I mean, like it's like no, because he was always like grinding. So
you tiptoed around. Like, you tiptoed around now and didn't you?
Okay, it's not like Tristan. Tristan came from collegiate.
Wait, last time I checked, your other teammate T-Crow played in college yesterday.
Okay, they doing it on the side, bro. But Tristan was a, you know, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna stop talking.
You know what? I told him be careful with his words. I told him. But CRL quals happened yesterday. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Tyler already told you guys. Tyler, just when do signups close? I just want to know.
I believe Thursday at 12 Eastern or 11 Eastern, something like that, somewhere around there.
Okay, well, quals closed, or signups for quals close Thursday. Make sure to do that. Oh God, that was a lot. And then again, those guys will play this Sunday, so be sure to check that out. You know, we gotta throw some love to our next subject here. WCBC North America happened this weekend. Again, this is Women's History Month, and again, we gotta show support to the ladies whenever we can. We talked about them last week when we were talking about a lot of like drama going on in the scene. So guess what? We're gonna talk about them again because we love the women in Rocket League, and we love the fact that they have a league that they can all play in. And recently, they ended up having their North American tournament, which was very exciting. Again, guys, make sure to check out Women's Carball. I mean, I think Rocket League pretty much almost hosts them after RLCS like every time they're on. So I know you guys have definitely been tuning in, but definitely like make sure to, you know, stay more involved to keep up with that as things go on. But I mean, Tyler, talk to me about some WCBC.
Well, we over here on First Touch really do love our ladies. We respect our women. It is International Women's History Month, so we gotta make sure we all take our credence and give our respect to the ladies out there, wonderful women out there in the Rocket League esports scene and just the whole our esports scene in general. We do appreciate you. We appreciate all the time you put in. And given all that, there are some good girls out there who play Rocket League, and I really do love how they have their own platform to perform. And because with that, I mind blinked.
You good, bro?
Did I lag?
No.
Okay. Whew, I'm stressed about the lag.
I guess you lag like in real life. You just stopped talking.
Okay, but anyways, and they have the platform, and that gives even the girls out there who watch Rocket League a chance to see women compete at that level, at the highest level for them, and really high level in general. A lot of these people are like 2,000, 2,100 level players, and maybe that gives them a additional gateway or avenue, just kind of like CRL, where you can highlight it and more people watch it. Like, oh, she's really good. Maybe we should start giving her more trials or something for really low bubble teams, or maybe even some pro teams, and I'll give ladies like a better chance of competing at the highest level. So I love it.
Yeah, I do too. Speaking of which, so we talk about as you guys see at the bottom ticker, Bang Gang. That's a team that consists of Avenger, Angie, and Tally. And I've actually had the pleasure of playing ranked with both Avenger and Angie. They cold. They definitely cold. You know, you ever play with like ranked teammates that like don't know how to like pass the ball and stuff like that? You're just like, okay, whatever. I know how this game gonna go. No, they were sliding it to me across the field. I was like, I like this. This is so just from playing with those two in general, like I was actually like, and from knowing them outside of just like games, it was really cool to see them take the dub there. They ended up playing KC Pioneers, Courtney, Queen Bee, and Kate in the grand finals, and you know, they took it with a sweep. So I mean, big congrats to them. And I've been keeping an eye on some of the results here from WCBC. It's definitely not one-sided overall. It has been a little bit back and forth, especially between those two teams. So I expect that result to swap out. But again, just want to shout out that league and everything they're doing over there because it's a lot of good work. We're gonna go back, or we're gonna go forward, I guess, and talk about some topics really fast here. We're gonna go to our speed flip category. We have about 30 minutes left into the show, and we want to get to NA, but we want to hit on some stuff as well. So the speed flip is just us doing some quick hit topics on things that ended up happening that we don't have the time to really go too in depth on, but we still want to present it to you guys, give you guys at least some quick opinions. First things first, we're going to talk about Solary. They picked up the Oxygen roster of Fairy, Chassette, and Astral. It's an all-French org that ends up picking up Oxygen. And it was definitely an interesting move, but I personally am just glad that those guys have an org to represent in general.
Yeah, that they had an org, Oxygen, right? But I mean, now it's definitely French, a French org, which is probably better for them. Go ahead, TBates. That's all I got to say on the subject.
I mean, that's good how they got picked up. If they keep on getting 4-0'd by God's Miller's team, they won't be having an org for much longer. So hopefully they can really focus on not getting swept by people.
Okay.
With that org that they have.
Right.
Because the org doesn't protect people from getting swept.
Okay, maybe they might need some new mechanics. Speaking of which, our next topic on the speed flip is this new video that I ended up seeing from Rocket Science called the Curve Dash. If you guys haven't seen it, again, go to Rocket Science on YouTube. The video is called Curve Dashing, new mechanic, instant supersonic with no boost, and it's really cool. It's actually not that hard to do. I've tried it myself. I think it's like super cool, but I did get into some arguments with a couple of NA pros. I've heard mixed results on whether or not we think curve dashing is going to be something that we see like in the pro level. I want to shoot that to Raul though, as a pro, and you know, you've seen the video. What do you think?
I think it's going to take a minute for players to get comfortable with it. I think it definitely has potential to enhance gameplay around the scene. A lot of pros think they could just do something else to get speed on a play, but it's definitely going to come into fruition. We always look for new mechanics. We think that the ceiling is going to be dead. The ceiling's already capped at what we can achieve, and always something else pops up. And I think it's something great. It's something that it's going to take time, but people will master this mechanic and be faster around the field.
Yeah, so I mean, big shout outs to Curve Dashing, or big shout outs to Halfway Dead / Rocket Science for still just trying to find different ways to come into, or to, you know, just kind of bring up the level of play Rocket League and always give us some good insights to a game that we still are learning more about. Moving back on to roster move, we have one that was actually really interesting. SSG ended up signing a 2-year deal with Arsenal, Cypical, and Reddles, and Chrome, I believe. All 4 of them have signed a 2-year contract with Space Station Gaming. This is big news. What how you feel about this deal? We'll go Tyler and then roll Dizz.
I love the deal. It just shows how Rocket League is becoming more of a, if you reach that level, it's a really good job security blanket for a lot of these players and even coaches. It shows that when you put in the time, put in the work, you are given the best. You're given a chance to play for Oregon. If the org really loves you, they'll keep you on board, and it helps like alleviate stress for a lot of these players. That helps with their financials, especially if they get older, have to start paying for more things per se. If they move out from their families, whatever that may be, whatever that's the case. It really helps them, and it helps the scene overall as well. We know that SSG is going to be here for the next 2 years, which means if you're a fan, you could really support that team as SSG rather than them switching midway through a season to something else. You can support them as legit SSG and be SSG fan, buy your merch, buy your jersey, and really go with them.
Yeah, everything TBates said, I agree with. On the opposite side of that, it could backfire. People could get complacent that they have this 2-year deal. They don't really got to work. You still have to work to keep that org happy, but at the same time, you're like, all right, I'm locked down for 2 years. Maybe they have something in their contract where they don't get dropped or something like that. But we don't know the insides of that. But still, to keep on that kind of track, you can get complacent and fall down the ladder super quick if you're just not looking to keep pushing yourself to something else. So maybe looking at it, you're like, all right, I got what I needed, and that's it, right? So mentality was a big thing we stressed on for SSG, and hopefully, they keep driving to get better and better and look for world domination.
So, yeah, I thought it was really interesting too, just because of the fact that like they did this right after SSG didn't necessarily have like the best like major run overall, but I guess it just shows like the org has a lot of faith in the team. I've always been saying though, like it is tough because like Raul was saying, like there's a chance, there's always a clause in the contract where org's like we could drop you at any time we want to. I feel like yes, it's cool to sign for a 2-year deal, but I honestly I hope that they'll be involved for the next 2 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if like the opposite happened and that just wasn't the case, just because of all the roster changes that we've seen happen over the course of the past few years or so. It's definitely possible that they may not stick together that long, but I mean, regardless of that, I'm still happy for the boys and do congratulate them on that. And then lastly, speaking of orgs picking up NA teams, I want to talk about Oxygen because they dropped their roster in Europe and then they picked up Jamal Jabari in North America. So I don't know how to feel about that. In all honesty, that's like a weird move. But before I even dive into it, I want to get you guys' opinions on
it. Well, Oxygen having a previous roster that is a lot more solidified, branding wise, those 3 players are a lot. They have a lot more branding than the Jamal Jabari squad. But I feel like Jamal Jabari only has upside to what they're gonna bring, and maybe that old Oxygen roster was sliding down the roster. What are you laughing at?
Somebody said Jabari.
Jamal Jabbery, whatever, bro. Like they have more upside, and Oxygen might have been on the decline. So tossing it to you, teammates. Take the Jabbery, the Jabbery.
Jamal Jabbery. I mean, it's good for Jamal. They get their little shot as an org, and Oxygen gets to move on. They're essentially aren't those 2 teams like in the same position points wise? No. The old Oxygen are a little higher, I think. I'm not looking at it at the moment.
Oh, Oxygen definitely, yeah.
Yeah, in the region.
In the region, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, Jamal gets a little shine, so we'll see how it works out. It ends out for him. It's cool, and you love to see more orgs. You don't see orgs stay in it because Oxygen is shifting, but you want to see orgs stay in the scene, and even if they're swapping teams, that's better than leaving, in my opinion. So, I'm glad that Jamal get their little run as legit pro, quote unquote, pro players. So yeah, that's cool.
Okay, well, I think I have a different opinion than both of you all. I'm like more critical on Oxygen because I don't think it was like a good move. The only thing I could think of is that maybe Oxygen, like the players who are now Solari, may have like wanted like a contract deal or a bigger contract or something like that.
Contract, yeah.
Right. And then like maybe Oxygen just didn't have that. So then they said, okay, well, we have to drop out. But I guess instead of signing like another team in Europe, they decided to go all the way over to North America and then sign Jamal Jabari, which, I mean, where are they sitting at? They're sitting at 16th. So your org, I guess, if we went from 9th to 16th, I don't think, Jamal Jabari is not going to be in the world's conversation here. So for me, it's just like, maybe, okay, you still like Rocket League. You still want a kind of good team and a team that can make the grid, but you don't want to spend all that money. That's the only thing that I can see for Oxygen to be able to do that. Like, but
I don't mean to throw shade on like some orgs, but like you got Liquid for a huge example. That's a massive org, and they're sitting super low in the rankings. So maybe they're just looking at upside at this point. And I think Oxygen might be an NA organization, so they're just trying to switch over.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe like Solari actually just had more money and was like, okay, we'll buy out Oxygen. and then maybe they just bought him out. So that could be the case to an Oxygen. We're just like, okay, well, we'll take that, and then we'll go, you know, get a band on an NA team. I guess that works too. So lots of different possibilities there. But that's it for the speed flip. And now, we get into the juicy part. If you stuck with us this far, well, I hope you're ready. We're going to talk about North America, the first North American spring split or spring regional will happen this weekend. And I mean, we don't necessarily know all of the teams that have yet to qualify. We do know, I believe, some of the teams that are already going to be in it. NRG, Envy, SSG, Rogue, Peeps, G2, KCP, Alpine, PK. Oh, I don't like that logo. Sorry, I just saw the logo. Susquehanna Sonics, Ghost, and V1. I just don't like the logo, bro. I'm sorry. Like the old one was better. So we know those teams are going to be involved. Raul is going to be in the spring regional 1. I think things are going to shift after that, and we're going to see some teams that may have to qualify and do, go through a bunch of hoops or whatever. But that's what we got. We're still waiting for qualifiers to finish. That'll be happening over the course of this week. But I think we need to talk about what we want to see coming into this split or this regional. I'm going to shift it towards TB3 because I know he's got something to say.
What I want to see come this regional? All right, then. I've said it once, and I've said it twice, and I'm going to say it one more time. I can't fall off of it just yet. If you watched the show before today, you know where I'm going. It's about time G2 showed up. It's about time. It's only a matter of time before I see NA regional champ G2, and it needs to happen this split. Otherwise, it might never happen again. And as a G2 supporter, I really love watching G2 play Rocket League. If you like watching Rocket League, you just know that G2 here goes. G2, they have one of the most engaging, fun, and entertaining ways of playing the game. You love that offense. You love the left to right. You love the Chicago to J Naps top left. You love Rizzo coming in, making his shots. You love to watch that type of gameplay, but they've just been lacking it for a little bit. It's just been a little bit of a stop. They don't play no defense no more, and it bothers me. I need them to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more methodical with their approach, and then they'll be ready and good to go. So G2, that's what I want to see perform when it matters most. I want to see them back in that legit top 6 range. I want to see 6 teams going in the Worlds for NA that are every bit on par with BDS. G2, you need to move back up there.
As much as we always see TBates stressing that G2 needs to perform,
because he's stressing.
You'll see me stressing that my boy Jason and his squad at Rogue.
Why do you scream?
They always need to come get after it. Jason, Tino, Rock. I want to see this team dominate, and they continue to improve. I want to see them solidify their place in that top 3 spot in North America. But I have another team I do want to see improve, and that is the Machine. I need them back as well. I need the Machine back as well. They've been falling off what they've been doing recently, and I need to see the Machine be the Machine that we called them to be. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Damar.
I mean, the Machine has, they got to take a pit stop. They got to take a pit stop. Team Envy has been a team that we thought was going to dominate North America, and now First Killer was dancing around them. Like they're struggling. Like I need to see the Machine get back into action. I need to see them kicking things into a new gear. Tyler, and you look what?
Y'all look, everybody watching, y'all look at my camera don't work because the face I just made, which is one of pure shock. I don't know what these two are talking about. First off, y'all don't know about our top 5, so yeah, they talk about the Machine right. That they ain't really believers in the Machine because they don't have anybody in the Machine. They top 5 players. I'm just letting y'all know right now.
They weren't.
They took 2 weeks. They took a 2-week break and they finished third in the major. They finished third in the major, and all of a sudden, none of it. I don't want to hear either of y'all talk about the Machine. The Machine. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear all that. The Machine. The only person on his show that has the credibility to talk about Machine is me. Because see, me, I value consistency. Y'all value whatever y'all value. Y'all value whatever happened most recently. See, me, I don't fall for recency bias. The Machine, they take a little bit of a break. They'll be back. I'm not worried about the Machine. They're always gonna be legit top 3. It just takes a little while for the Angels to get going. And once they're in full throttle, they might end up winning.
But that's just how it goes. It turned off for a little bit.
It turned off. It went from first to third. What's wrong with that?
You saying that it needs a little bit of juice, a little bit of oil to get the machine running again.
That's
What
right.
happened to them? They were at the top. They were full blowing, full engine running, everything. What happened then? They turned off a little bit.
Oh, just for y'all know, the machine is Envy, ENVY. It contains the 4-time turbo pulsar, mist, and then atomic. I mean, it really just falls to whether or not Atomic decides he wants to stay in the Fennec or not. I don't know why he keeps switching, but everybody knows that Atomic on the Fennec is the truth. Atomic on Octane, he pretty good too, but Atomic on Fennec, that's a different type of cat. And so they stay right there. This be just fine. And y'all keep discrediting the other team with the captain. Nobody mentions the captain. He is always
because the expectation for them is already it's already there. I don't gotta talk about NRG because they always bring it. I gotta talk about teams that they don't bring it every single time. I want to see more consistency out of them. The consistency you're talking about. So I want to see Envy make it back to the consistent team that they were, and I want to see Rogue stay consistent that they are. What now? I just want to see that top 2 finish from Envy. Envy was that dominant team for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They gotta improve a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And we don't just give out nicknames for no reason. A machine is a machine. All right. A machine is flawless. A machine is working. And that's not them right now. And that's what I need to see.
Stop breathing so heavy. Yeah, your breath is coming through my mic right now. It's coming out.
Okay. Real quick. Because I haven't done this yet. I want to do this. I'm talking to my the Koji, who is a producer for this show. He's the one pushing all the buttons for us. Koji, I'm ready to start our first chat vote. TBates says he wants to see G2 be, back to being what they are. Raul's more on the lines of the machine. I want to see what the viewers, you guys who are watching at home, I want to see what you guys. Wait, did I mess up? Hold on, I got pinged. Okay. My bad. So wait, the question is going to be what side do you agree with? Whether it's with Team TBates, and you guys, the commands will be go Bates in the chat, and then if it's for the machine, then we'll go Dizz. But let me make sure I get Koji that question. Meanwhile, I want to pose this to TBates. G2 didn't make a roster move this split. They decided to keep Rizzo. Rizzo did that tweet where it's like, I'm not leaving. I mean, what do you think? What do you think?
G2 not being able to make a roster move?
They could have. They just didn't.
That's good. You know what that means? They value consistency. All it takes, G2, you have to understand, just recently, it's only a year ago, I think they finished like 1-8 or something like that in NA season 8 with the same roster. They didn't switch nothing, stuck together. All of a sudden, they finished number 1 in NA and that's why Chicago sometimes runs the NA season 9 regional champ, season 9 RLCS. I don't know how the words go. It's a tongue twister. I'm not looking at it. But he rocks the title for a reason because they stayed together. And I just feel like it's about that time where G2 hits their stride. It's the springtime. Flowers start blooming. G2 start blooming. And all of a sudden, you really see G2. They on the come up. And then the machine. And that's why I value NA more than I value EU. Because you got a team like G2 who can really compete with the top teams in the top teams in North America. I don't really feel like anybody competes with BDS. So that's why EU, I need them to step up a little bit more. You got to have some parity in your league. When we saw the bracket for EU, I don't think really anybody was expecting BDS not to win. But come next weekend, when you see the bracket for NA, you be like, oh, they can win. That's how NA works. Because we got nothing but great things at the top. And G2, I need you back up in there so then people can add G2 to that conversation with SSG, with NRG, with the Rogue, with the Envy, with the Peep.
All I gotta say on this topic is what did Shift tweet out a couple weeks ago? The thing that caught us by surprise. What did Shift tweet out?
Shift tweets out everything. Are we
about G2, about your go-to? What did Shift tweet out? We are looking to replace Rizzo with AJ. You know Rizzo saw that, right? You know Rizzo was thinking about hanging up the controller. He's like, it's time. You know that, right? So now you got all these things running through Rizzo's head, right? I'm done. All right. This roster wants to replace me. The roster was looking to replace me. And maybe Rizzo was retiring on his own accord. Whatever the case is, Rizzo's done playing after this split, when he can get transferred off the roster, right? Maybe there will be a drive that kicks in where Rizzo stays in the scene playing competitively, but I don't see it happening just because of what I've heard, right? And to base that off of the cohesion of a roster, the chemistry of a roster, to know that you were this close to not being on the roster anymore, that messes with your head, that messes with your mental. And I just don't see positive things coming out of that.
Interesting. Is the poll happening right now?
The poll has been going on right now.
Am I
The
winning?
poll-
I have to be winning.
Only by 4%.
It's a
It's a 4%. It's now a 3% difference. It's a 3% difference.
3% difference.
Oh, it's a 2% difference. Oh God.
I should open my mouth.
Catch it up.
Y'all better start voting. Hey, I know everybody in chat. Y'all want to see G2 win. That's America's
They
team.
want to see G2, bro. G2 fans. Hey, it is what it is.
Man, it's
And
getting
they
too
can
close
have
now.
that G2, but
I shouldn't have said
I'm
anything.
saying it's not about to happen. So,
Oh dear. Oh dear. We're 1% difference away. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so guys, I think we can close it here. It's pretty dead even. We'll give TBates his 1% with the G2 fans. But yeah, I mean, looking at G2, you definitely the fans do want to see more come out from G2. We all know these players. We all have seen their careers. We've been fans of them for the longest time. We have that high expectation. But at some point, for me, it's like, okay, you're not doing it, and I'm getting upset, and I'm like, and
I'm getting mad.
I'm seeing the Reddit threads, and usually I ignore them because I'm like, okay, maybe maybe this Reddit user 242 is getting a little outlandish. I heard him call me mediocre in another thread. I'm getting a little mad at him, but maybe then I start thinking after they're not making top 6, top 4. I'm like, they need something. Something needs to change. And with all of these things obviously affecting the team, it does have, some type of impact. On the other side of things, Team Envy, we call them the machine for a reason. They were on the streak. You have the 4-time Miss, who got an ego bigger than his head. You got Atomic, who should be doing like so much more. But that's not.
Why you say all that, man?
Because it's true.
Hey, everyone at the top got a little ego, man. It's what carries you. It's the confidence, that little ego.
Oh, trust me, he don't got the biggest ego. But I'm just saying, these guys should be also, reaching that height, and we're seeing them just completely fall off. And it just sometimes the gameplay even looks a little sloppy. And we're contributing that to like card changes. We're contributing that to like so many different things. But that being said, both of these teams definitely do need to step up coming this spring split, because you got teams like Rogue and teams like NRG who want to skip to Malu. They're doing it. Okay, they are doing it, and I think that for me, I think I want to throw this at Tyler, because Rogue have had a they're on a good run right now. They're doing well. Do you think that stops here?
No, I think they're actually legit. I told y'all after the first time they won Regional 3, I said, I got to see it again. And they performed again. I got to respect them. When Raul was turning his whole room blue, making it darken the blue for Rogue, I was like, hold on. I don't do that type of stuff. I need to see consistency. That's consistency. So I respect Rogue. Let's stay up there. I don't know if they're going to win it, but let's stay up there. You got to respect First Killer. You got to respect Jason and Taroko and Tino.
Hey, I got nothing to say on the subject. I'm glad that you actually came to your senses for once. That's it.
Oh dear. Okay, well, I do want to talk to you about something though, specifically, Raul, and that's what you like to call your boys.
Except for once.
Huh? Oh, no. Hey, don't talk about it.
Oh.
We will let the results speak for themselves. But Raul, like your boys, you're coming into this one. How do you feel? You've been playing the game for a decent amount. You kind of took over around the time of the major and started playing in place of J-Russ. Obviously, there's been some time since you've taken the field for RLCS, but now you're back and now you're grinding the game. What's expectations like for your team going into this regional one?
Well, after we took the machine to game 5 in a series where I truly believe if we had a little bit more backbone mentality, we would have taken the series, right? Mm-hmm. Again, that last game is always the hardest to finish. But coming into this, we're grinding more now than ever. I know what I need to do in order to enhance my team. I always been known around the scene by a bunch of pro players like I'm an enabler. I don't stand out as a mechanical gifted player, and I'm not supposed to be that, but I can direct traffic and I can be that backbone the team needs, right? And that's my job. That's what I need to do. That's why I stepped down in the first place to do coaching, because I feel like I could have brought that to a roster, right? And now since I'm back on the field, I still have to do my job, right? So I'm confident. I'm definitely confident in my two players. I know what they bring to the table. I know what all three of us bring to the table and how we mesh. So I'm confident going in, and I'm excited to see what we can do.
That's exciting. I'm excited to watch y'all play. See what y'all can do. I also would love to see V1 perform this weekend too. I love watching V1. I'm a Gimmick fanboy. So
And they barely made it too. I don't know if you guys saw the tiebreaker between them and Charlotte Phoenix, who, again, Charlotte Phoenix, if you guys don't know, they ended up taking the local roster of Andy Bisabonium and Delta, and then they played their first match of with that team in a 7-game series against V1. Went all the way 7. It was it was so much more closer than I thought it needed to be, and it ended up concluding in a V1 winning a Champions Field with a 3-minute overtime. So, I mean, is that more Charlotte playing well or V1 falling off for you, Tyler?
I mean, V1's performances over the course of the whole entire season have been shaky, really off. They look like they can compete sometimes, and other times they look like they are lackluster, to say the least. So, I mean, it happens. I just want to see them succeed to the best of their abilities. I know they can, because they really went neck and neck with teams like NRG, but it's not consistent at all. So, but you would really love to see Torment and Gimmick really raise their caliber of play and really reach that level that they used to play at.
Yeah, I heard Torment was getting like really good. Like, I mean, like at least from what I've heard in terms of like the trade window, like in terms of like 6-mans and scrims and stuff, like Torment's really starting to step up, at least like all over the field right now. Have you scrimmed V1, Rolders?
I've scrimmed them like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
What they look like?
They're speedy and scrims. I don't think I've seen that kind of the level that they play. I think NA is when we talk about scrims, teams bring a different kind of aspect into scrims, since it's not like there's nothing on the line.
Right.
So they play a little differently. They play a little outlandish sometimes. I think V1, their tendencies around the field in a tournament kind of matched what they try to do in an actual in scrims as well. So Torment has been in scrim. Torment is playing some a kind of role that I don't expect Torment to see. Like, Torment is fast, and you expect Torment to be this backbone third man, but Torment is coming onto the offensive side of the field, and he's putting things away for that roster. So I think Common Gimmick being that upfield kind of presence gives Torment a lot of space to kind of move up down the field now. So he's kind of coming into his ways.
All right, so we're getting ready to close out, guys. We got about like 3 minutes left, but I do want to propose one final question for you all, and that is the top 6 category, with G2 sitting at 6 at 1,500 points, or 1,550, and 3 teams that could potentially, I mean, technically 4 or 5 if you count like Sonics in that one, Sonics and PK in there. The question is, do you think we're going to see a shift in the top 6 at all?
I currently don't know what the points look like. I'm not looking at them. All I know is that the winner of this first regional will be NRG, and I'm just gonna move on from there.
This man completely disregarded the question.
Like he was just like, whatever, bro. NRG are gonna win, bro. Like, all right.
Like, I don't know. I don't care. NRG will win.
I mean, Raul.
I see KCP sitting right outside, 140 points below G2. And they kicked their coach, which could have been it could be a drastic change for them. I don't know if, I don't know if they're gonna have the guidance anymore to kind of take it to the next level. So I think it's just gonna stay the same for now. I think it's too big of a point gap.
Okay. Prediction, if you could guess any teams winning, who you got? Since Tyler already threw out NRG, we might as well go down the line.
I gotta go with Rogue. I'm gonna predict Rogue. I gotta go with Rogue. They've been too consistent right now, and I think with the right game plan, Jason will shine. Tino will shine. Rock will put things away.
Wait,
Top
let
left, top right.
me get my top 3. NRG versus SSG final. G2 finished 3rd. There you go, Demar.
G2 finished 3rd.
Oh God!
All right, we done tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we gotta close the show. Real quick, I'll say NRG are gonna win this one for sure. But we are out of time. Oh God, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to First Touch. This is the first time we're going to be on the Rocket League channel, but we are not done. We are going to be here every single Monday, so get comfortable and tune in around 12 Central Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, because we're going to come back after this regional and talk all about what we just saw. So please make sure you guys tune in for that. Boys, any final thoughts as we close out our first show?
Hopefully my camera works so y'all can look at my pretty face more often.
Oh gosh. Hey, it's always a good time. Great first start, boys. I always love doing this, so can't wait to do more.
All right. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Shout out to Psyonix for, giving us the opportunity to be on their channel. First Touch will be back on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you guys next week. Later.
Peace.
You lift me off of the ground. I close my eyes and I wait for the come down. I used to live in the